I have started my career in French language in the year of 2013 when I was a trainee professor in Alliance Française. And my learning of the language started in the year of 2008 or 2009 in between. And
Mm-hmm.
I was already doing my English honors from Calcutta University, and at that time I went to Alliance Française to learn French.
Can you please share some common, misconceptions or the challenges that learners face, usually learners face,
Hmm,
and
hmm, hmm.
how they can overcome those challenges? Hello, ma'am. Welcome to the Language in You podcast. And my name is Parth, and I'm building this platform for all the language enthusiasts. And I'm really glad that you are here, on this podcast with me today. And I'm sure that people are going to gain a lot of insights from this podcast. So thank you so much for being here once again.
Thank you, Pat, for having me here for your warm welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Okay.
so I'll quickly, brief you about the structure of the podcast and everything. So how are we going to proceed in this podcast, right?
Okay.
So first of all, there will be four rounds that I want you to know. And
Mm-hmm.
first round will be basically for the French learners,
Mm-hmm.
and there we will be discussing some strategies or some misconceptions, and some like
Yes.
challenges that you might have faced when you were, you were learning French. Second
Mm-hmm.
round will be basically the French proficiency showcase that
Mm-hmm.
will be entirely in French, that
Mm-hmm.
section. Then we will be having the third round that will be dedicated for the French teachers basically,
Mm-hmm.
and there we will discuss about the teaching methodologies, we will discuss about the pedagogy, cultural immersion, and lot more. And then the final round, that is going to be the fun round, that we call as a rapid fire round. And there I'm going to be asking you some personality based questions, and like depending as per your profession and as per your experience, right? So that's how
Okay.
it we are going to go ahead, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay.
So I'll be really requesting you to just quickly, briefly just introduce yourself for everybody who is viewing the podcast.
Hi, very good evening to everyone. So, myself, Dr. Paulami. Well, I teach in Alliance University, Bangalore, and I am the assistant professor of French language, literature, and culture. Right now, and I have started my career in French language in the year of 2013 when I was a trainee
Mm,
professor in Alliance Française, and my learning of the language started in the year of 2008 or 2009 in between. And
mhm.
I was already doing my English honors from Calcutta University, and at that time I went to Alliance Française to learn French. Actually, at that point of time, I had no idea. So I was a student, not only because of a student of English literature. Since childhood, we have been exposed to many fragments of French
Yeah.
expressions and French word through our English textbook. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that what triggered my interest about the language. So I that is where I thought, okay, so what is this language, how is this language, I should learn this, because these poets and these scholars, they are using this language and they have this
Yeah.
tendency of using this language, so this must be something refined, something
Yeah.
something which is of an elevated level, long
Ah,
soutenu, like a
correct.
language elevated level. So that is why I thought, okay, so there can't be anything that I should I mean, I should not know. I should actually start with this language.
That's
So
it.
one fine afternoon, and okay, before going there, I discussed with a friend of mine, and she was already learning. We were in the same college, and she was already learning French. So those
Mm-hmm.
who are good students want to learn something else, they would go and learn language. So there in the city at that point of time, there were two like core like the center of learning French. One was Ramakrishna Mission Mott. They had a they actually still now they are running their language classes there. I
Mm-hmm.
think many foreign languages are being taught there. And apart from that, Alliance Française. So my
Right.
teacher told me, if you want to learn this language, and at a later stage, if you want to take it as a career, please go and learn it from Alliance Française. uh,
Mm.
I think Alliance Francaise will be a better choice. So
Yeah.
I told my friend who was learning in Ramakrishna Mission, I told her, I mean, what is it? I just want to know how it is learned. How it is learned. So she brought her manual, one manual. I think it was Connexion. So she
Mm-hmm.
brought the manual in college and she showed me. You see, this is un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq. This is the these are the numbers, and this is here they're teaching about words. So all it was like not French but Greek and Latin to me at that point of time. And then I decided, okay, whatever it is, when I have decided to learn, so I will go ahead with my
Mm-hmm.
decision. Then I went to Alliance Française, I took admission and my learning started. Okay, then I thought, okay, this is something new and I could see a
Right.
new horizon. um, Probably I was imagining the horizon behind a huge black cloud. So and then in front of me there was a huge black cloud,
Mm.
but I knew that this something is there, and I can if I keep walking, I think I can reach the point.
Definitely.
So and then I took it seriously. I started inquiring about the how to go ahead, because after my A1 level DELF exam, I found that Alliance Francaise teaching was also not very enthusiastic for me. So I was and my challenges as a learner, if I may be allowed to speak, so my challenges as a learner was the at the initial level, the verbs. Okay, and
Mm.
I was lacking, and those days there was no YouTube, there was no this, I mean, smartphone. So
Yeah.
only class was the only option to learn. And we were told that sometimes you can check TV5 Mond, which this channel, and you can just listen to their
Emission
bulletins. Yeah,
programs.
is
Yeah.
emission. So then but it never happened for me, because that channel was, first of all, it was not available. And then
Right.
yeah, so this was a problem of contextualizing beyond my class. And
Mm-hmm.
also I was finding it difficult little bit. Other than that, I did not have any challenge as a
Mm.
student. Little bit of difficulties were there for verb conjugation, tense, to understand the tense, functioning of the tense, etc. But I think that is normal, natural, because it's a totally different language, which has its own unique structure. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that was fine, and I could cope with it quickly, with my own strategies. But
Mm-hmm.
then I started then I started taking as I found the classes were a bit boring for me. So I came out and I thought, okay, I have to go out because I think I'm going to take it as my career option. So I
Right.
have to look for better option which will allow me in future to teach and to work in many other domains,
Right.
industry, or maybe in the area of teaching. So and
Mm-hmm.
then I started taking the exams. So for me, FLU worked at that time. I came to FLU, and then it happened gradually. So this
Understood.
is how I started. And then as right from my first year, second year of masters, I thought of teaching. I mean, I started teaching in the sense.
Hmm.
So I started teaching, and I thought that before that I also worked in a small company during my vacation. But actually, I did not like that work. That was mostly about email translating and receiving the calls from the other end, the French customers.
Mm-hmm.
I could survive 1 month, and then I said no, 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 it's not my cup of tea. And I, at that point of time, I was also not sure that I will be a teacher. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I started still looking for teaching option, and then Alliance Française worked for me, and then we used to have semester breaks. So they wrote to me that we have this option, why don't you come and join us as a trainee professor
Hmm.
during your semester break. And I was assigned to a very small batch. And the first day when I stood in front of those students, for me it was so natural that I was not, as if I'm not putting any effort. It's like my own area, and I can
Hmm.
just navigate so easily. So it
Understood.
happened
Wonderful.
normally, naturally, and then and from then I started thinking, step by step, so that I can
In
be
that same direction.
in
Right.
the same direction, step by step, so that it develops. uh,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Understood, ma'am. So now I'll be moving to the to another question that is the going to be the the very first round of our podcast. So and this round is going to be dedicated for the French learners, right?
Learners.
The people who are just like maybe planning to learn the language, or maybe the people
Hmm.
who are maybe at the middle age, middle
Hmm.
levels like A1,
Yes,
A2, B1 levels.
yes, yes.
So for them, this round will be dedicated. Now, as we have already seen your journey, as we have already
Hmm.
heard about your journey with the
Hmm.
French language, now, according to you, ma'am, like as you have also mentioned that there are some challenges that you faced initially when you were learning the language.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
can you please share some common, like misconceptions or the
Hmm.
challenges that learners face,
Hmm.
usually learners face,
Hmm.
and
Hmm. Hmm.
how they can overcome those challenges?
Hmm.
Maybe you
Hmm.
can mention just three or four challenges, or
Hmm.
maybe two or three. I mean, depending upon the major ones, we can touch upon, and then along with like how we can overcome those.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So actually, see, learning, a misconception doesn't come at the learning stage. It is not there. Misconception. I maybe there could be some misconception, but I won't interpret them as misconception. I will
Mm-hmm.
rather say uh, lack of knowledge. That is
Hmm.
not a misconception, that
Right.
is
Right.
lack of knowledge. Okay. So how it happens, I have in my throughout my teaching career, what I have seen, for in case of learners, what happens actually in India, to be very honest, language learning in general, language learning in general is not systematic at all.
Hmm.
It is not systematic language learning. Okay, to understand a language, the language itself has its own structure. Each and every language is different, and they may have a common structure, they may differ from one to another, and
Hmm.
how they differ, where they are different from each other. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this observation is not there among in most of the cases, in
Right.
among our students. Hmm? Now French, now the in case of Indian students, what happens, they are very they're very fluent most of the time. The class that we get in Alliance Française and in our university level, so they are very fluent in English. Hmm? And for them, at least for this last two generations, what's happening, the English language itself is kind of a natural acquisition.
Hmm.
You understand? So they
Right.
don't really follow the structure of in the English language either.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you do not follow the structure of English language either, then you do not have a reference in your mind. And when you come to learn a foreign language, or any language, need not be a foreign language, whatever language, you always have a language within you, right? So with reference, and the reference happens naturally. It
Hmm.
is not that you have to think of, since English is a foreign, sorry, French is a for European language, you have to think of English. No, you can think of your mother tongue as well, but you should be aware of its structure. So when when the learning happens naturally, the acquisition happens naturally, we are not aware of the structure. And then uh, these students, those who are very good in English, okay, and then probably there is now the misconception, there is a conception that, oh, I will do very good in French because I speak so very well English. Okay,
Hmm.
so I know English, so I'm very good in English, so I think I will do a justice and I will learn English. I'm not it's not, I'm not saying in a satirical tone, but it happens. Okay, there, so this is a kind of misconception. It is there at least among 45% of students. Hmm? And then when they come to learn the language, what happens, the language the I mean they uh, the French language is taught, any European language is taught in a very methodical way, a very
Right.
scientific way. So now since now if I talk about verb conjugation, they don't understand what is conjugation.
Hmm. Yeah.
However, they speak English very well. Okay, and so then I said, okay, so what happened for me in my case, in my classroom, and in the classes of Alliance Française, I literally had to, you know break the each word from a sentence, that this is subject, this is verb is an action. So in English, as you say, I go, we go, you go, he goes, they go. So this is how you have to conjugate French
Basically, subject verb
verbs.
agreement, right? We have to
Subject
make
verb
the mind up.
agreement, and the conjugation, the
Hmm.
basic part, conjugation, verb conjugation. Forget about subject verb agree yes, subject verb
Hmm.
agreement. So you can't say I go, you go, he go. If you say he
Hmm.
go, it is wrong. So you
Hmm.
have to say he goes. So in English you have only three conjugation, whereas in French you have all these six. Hmm?
Right.
So this is how I teach them. And in my case, this also happened that I have to tell them in Hindi.
Hmm.
uh, these students, they speak English but they are not able to relate. So I told them, like, मैं जाऊंगी, हम जाएंगे. So this is how you have to this is called conjugation. and the,
Right.
and here you have French conjugation. Now,
Hmm.
so first of all, they have to understand what is conjugation, what is
Absolutely.
subject verb agreement.
Yes.
Actually this happened to me in very recent time in my class. Subject verb agreement. So does your subject agree with the verb? No, it doesn't agree. It
Hmm.
agrees when you have a proper conjugation of the verb. So this is
Yes.
how you have to have. So this is one challenge where they don't have a proper structure of the language. I mean, they are unaware of the structure of the language, functioning of the
Hmm.
language
Right.
that they speak in their everyday life. And hence when they come to class to learn, come to a foreign language class, they face the challenge to
Hmm.
understand what is verb conjugation. Now,
Correct.
yeah. Okay, so this is one challenge. This I have seen many of them face this challenge, and this is a basic one. So my suggestions for those students, that you, when you learn a language, you should know, at least try to understand your mother tongue. Don't, if you
Hmm.
have problem in English, okay, fine, don't have to, just try to understand your mother tongue. Okay, so how many, when, how you say, how you, if there is a subject verb agreement, if there is gender, like in Hindi the verb changes along with the gender. So if there
Hmm.
is gender, if just observe. So first step is to observe.
Hmm.
You need to observe how
Right.
the language is functioning, how the language is functioning. So and then you try to apply them in your daily life. So I tell my students always that suppose today you have learned manger verb, that is manger in French, that is to eat. So if you have learned manger verb, you, before every meal, try to form a sentence.
Hmm.
Try to form a sentence before every meal. I am hungry. I want to eat. How it will happen? Or I eat. Along with you, there will be your family members who are eating. So my father eats. How it will happen? So these are very basic sentences. I eat. My father eats. We
Hmm.
all eat. They
Hmm.
are eating. So this is how you can make small small sentences and try to apply them in your talk to yourself
Daily
at
life.
some point of
Yeah.
time. I have seen it, in for many of my classmates.
Mm-hmm.
They used to apply these strategies. This was not my strategy, because I understand. I mean, my strategy was different because I
Mm-hmm.
already understood English. What
Right.
is subject, what is object, what is verb. So that is why and the functioning of the language I'm saying. And then for me, I really actually I have not applied this, that everyday sentence how to say. But yeah, if you do this, there is it is like I mean, I think it's the best strategy. If you keep thinking, that is
Mm-hmm.
also a way of putting yourself in the context.
Right. Understood, ma'am.
Thinking the language. Think,
Hmm.
yes. So this is how you can think. And then comes many other part, how there are there will be different strategies, like how we teach preposition, how we teach other I think so. We have different strategies, but it is always necessary to contextualize, and this is how we also try to design our course. We try to fix our classes, or make arrangement inside the class, so that students are into the context,
Hmm.
where they feel that they feel the language. They feel it. They don't just
Understood.
speak, they feel it. So it is necessary that first you observe, then you find out a pattern, how it works. Okay. uh, Once you observe, definitely you will be able to. And it is a guided learning. In the basic level,
Yes.
it is a guided learning. Okay, so your facilitator, your teacher, your instructor will help you to find out the pattern. So
Correct.
once you observe, you have to just observe, learn, remember, practice, and keep 20 minutes from your schedule to revise. That is to
Hmm.
put it into the context.
Understood.
This is how the
Understood.
vocabulary also increases. And many students come to me asking, ma'am, how do we increase our vocabulary? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
word we understand. You will give us the list of required word. But how do we increase the vocabulary? So vocabulary is learned in the context, into the
Right.
context. When once you start working, let's talk about your daily meals. So you learn those vocabulary related to the context, related to the topic, pertinent to the topic.
Hmm.
But beyond that, again, you once you start contextualizing on your own, every time you think on in this language,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you will find it. You will find you will feel the urge to find a new word. And then you
Right.
sometimes students should consult dictionaries as well.
Understood. Right.
Yes.
I think that will really help students. And ma'am, what do you think? Like, what role do you believe multilingualism
Mhm.
plays in career development and global awareness?
Yes, in today's scenario, it is very, very important that multilingualism plays a major key role in binding. the people, binding the society, binding now. At least 40 years, 30 years before, we only thought lingua franca, English is the lingua franca. So we it is enough if we know, speak, and write correct English. But
Right.
now, yes, now, uh, to as the industries are growing, so
Hmm.
those days back in time, we did not have so much of industries, right? So
Mm-hmm.
much of job opportunities. So
Right.
these days now, the we have so much of industries. We have tourism industry flourished like anything. Okay, so let's say in case of tourism industry, it is very very important to learn language. Multilingualism is a key factor that that provides you, that is at the pivotal point. So
Right.
and it adds to the, and it connects you to the, to your job, to your
Hmm.
profession, to
Mm-hmm.
your job, to your profession. Not only for this tourism industry, for many, any business. Now all these big business like Amazon and all those, uh, Accenture, they found out how language is important
Right.
to connect with the larger people,
Absolutely.
to connect with the larger people. So that is
Hmm.
why it's nobody, it is now, the I mean the service sectors, they have been divided into so many mini micro segments, where
Mm-hmm.
they come to your home, and common people, they do not have to go or approach up to a certain level to get some facilities, right? So that is why language is very important to connect to a larger number of people. uh, this is in your everyday and like workaday life. And
Hmm.
no, apart from that, as they say, learning, as there is a very famous words, Charlemagne's word. They say that knowing one more language is to have one more self, right? So
Hmm.
the more you know, the more expressive you become. So apart from that, if you want to do research, if you want
Hmm.
to come to this area of research, this will help like anything, knowing more than one languages.
Correct.
So
Correct.
this is really encouraging, that to know and to go for language learning. But yes, learn the language so that you are able, find out your objective, where you
Hmm.
want to use them. Your
Mm-hmm.
objectives have to be clear, why you want to learn
Right.
language. Just don't go and sit in the language class out of curiosity. Yes, definitely you are you have the freedom of learning language, but if you do
Mm-hmm.
not use language, it is of no use learning them,
Absolutely.
right? You will
Yeah. Yeah.
forget after a certain point of time. So
Absolutely.
apart from learning language, to have this enthusiasm for language, to have the flair for language, it is
Mm-hmm.
also important, I feel, at least in today's, at this point of time, it is very very important to have your goals and objectives set, fix, and proper, why you want to learn this language. And now language learning has been has also been not learning, pedagogy of language has also been categorized.
Hmm.
We have business French, we have
Yeah.
French for scientific and technological purpose, we have French for different purposes. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
It's
that is
it's
why
available
your,
in all the fields. I
all
would
the
believe.
fields,
Correct.
so it has to be very very I mean the learner should know his or her objectives, why she
Correct.
wants to learn
Correct.
language.
Right. Now, ma'am, we are going to move ahead towards the round two of our podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
that will be mainly the French proficiency showcase. And in this particular section, we will be talking in French. We will be listening to you to your French language, and like how you have like mastered this language, at this level. So,
Mm-hmm.
est-ce que vous êtes prête?
Oui, bien sûr.
D'accord. Donc, dans ma première question pour vous, c'est que quels sont, selon vous, les éléments clés pour réussir dans l'apprentissage du français?
Très bien, c'est une très bonne question. Pour réussir l'apprentissage de la langue française, le premier mot, c'est la curiosité, intérêt.
Hmm,
Vous voulez euh, apprendre la langue,
oui.
n'est-ce pas?
Mhm, oui,
Vouloir, c'est pouvoir.
oui, c'est vrai, c'est vrai.
D'accord? C'est vrai? Ok. Donc après ça, donc, quand vous êtes dans la classe de la langue française, il faut être, comme j'ai déjà dit en anglais, il faut être, avant vous êtes dans la classe de la langue française, il faut être très clair que vous allez apprendre la langue française et pourquoi. Pourquoi vous voulez apprendre la langue, cette langue? Quels sont vos objectifs? OK?
Hmm,
Après, après ça, euh, il faut comprendre, il faut croire que la langue française, comment dire, unique, et la langue a une structure, hmm, sa propre structure, sa propre règle. Donc,
mhm,
il faut observer comment la langue fonctionne.
hmm,
Maintenant, vous avez déjà une langue déposée chez vous. Ça peut
oui,
être votre langue maternelle, ça peut être l'anglais. OK? Maintenant, il faut comme vous savez, vous savez une autre langue déjà. Maintenant, il faut comprendre la différence. Quelles sont les différences entre les deux langues?
hmm,
Comment la langue que vous savez déjà, que vous parlez déjà, fonctionne et comment la langue que vous apprenez fonctionne. Donc, il y a les deux, il y a la différence. OK, maintenant, c'est la différence. Donc, c'est la structure de la langue française. Et par exemple, moi, quand je parle avec ma famille en français, je parle qu'est-ce que tu fais, maman? But in English, on dit que what do you do, mama? Right? Et, et après, quand vous êtes dans un contexte formel, par exemple, vous parlez avec votre supérieur dans le bureau.
hmm,
Donc, comment vous dites, vous allez bien, monsieur? Donc, il y a deux différences, tu et vous. D'accord. Mais en anglais, vous utilisez le même pronom. Le même
hmm,
pronom, n'est-ce pas?
oui.
Vous avez un seul pronom pour le deuxième personne. Hmm? Donc, vous avez euh, you. How do you do so today?
Hmm,
Right? Donc, le- il faut comprendre que vous, ce n'est pas seulement le pluriel, ça peut aussi être utilisé dans un contexte formel.
formel, oui.
Formel. Et c'est la règle unique de la langue française. Et c'est la différence de l'anglais. Ici,
Exactement.
il y a la différence. Il faut que les apprenants euh, observent, que les apprenants euh, et observent et que les apprenants savent comment il y a comment la différence ça arrive et comment il faut euh, différencier la langue française, la langue qu'ils apprennent dans la
Hmm,
classe.
d'accord, d'accord, c'est vrai. Maintenant, ma deuxième question, c'est que comment la culture et la langue se complètent-elles dans le processus d'apprentissage?
La culture, c'est une partie. inséparable. Vous ne,
Hmm.
vous ne pouvez pas séparer. Et c'est
Oui,
pourquoi on enseigne la langue dans un contexte. La
exactement.
langue est enseignée dans un contexte,
Oui.
n'est-ce pas? Donc, de niveau A1, on travaille avec le contexte qui sont de base, qui sont très simples. Par exemple, acheter quelque chose dans le magasin, aller acheter des billets dans la gare. Ok, donc comment il faut, par exemple, comment indiquer les heures. Donc, pour contextualiser ce, ce thème particulier, indiquer l'heure, ok, apporter dans le contexte ou
Mhm.
comment vous pouvez apporter les enseignants dans le contexte à travers ce thème. Regardez, vous pouvez montrer un billet, ok.
Mhm.
Alors, dites-moi, c'est quelle heure le train part, quelle heure est le départ du train dans la gare de Rio et à quelle heure il arrive à Toulouse. Ok. Dites-moi le temps, à quelle heure. Donc, l'apprenant, il observe l'heure, il regarde à l'heure et après, il peut aussi lire le billet, n'est-ce pas? Il est aussi capable de lire le billet,
Oui.
composter votre billet, composter voiture 1. C'est quoi le voiture? Hmm, Comment on dit le voiture en anglais? Ok, il y a aussi un mentionnement de K1. C'est quoi le K? Ainsi, vous pouvez apporter les apprenants dans le contexte.
Oui.
Donc, c'est une partie essentielle. C'est déjà inclus. On ne peut pas séparer. C'est
Mhm.
impossible de séparer.
Oui.
Vous ne pouvez pas imaginer la langue sans la culture, sans enseignement de la culture. L'enseignement de
Oui.
la culture, ça arrive, ça se passe naturellement,
Naturellement. Oui.
n'est-ce pas?
Oui, exactement. Je suis tout à fait d'accord.
Naturellement. Et après, il y a aussi des niveaux. C'est pour les bases, c'est pour le niveau alimentaire. Et après, nous avons des A2, B1. Donc,
Mhm.
notre pédagogie, le méthode change.
Oui.
N'est-ce pas? Pas à pas, cela change.
Oui.
Et
Exactement.
ainsi, on peut aussi apporter la littérature, une petite partie. On peut aussi apporter, il faut voir le contexte, il faut voir le thème, ce que on veut enseigner. Et maintenant, il faut réfléchir comment je peux relire je peux relier ce thème avec un contexte. Ça peut être un contexte littéraire, ça peut être un contexte de la vie quotidienne,
Mhm.
ça dépend. Mais,
Understood.
mais c'est une partie inséparable. Et c'est là toujours.
Oui, vous avez tout à fait raison. Oui, d'accord. Maintenant, nous allons passer à à la troisième partie de notre podcast.